Hi, thanks for stopping by. My name is Soup, and this time I'm starting up something a little bit different. I'm calling this one First Impressions because that's exactly what it is. I'm going to be talking about some TV shows that I'm checking out for the first time and giving you my first impressions. Hope you enjoy. I'm going to be giving you my first impressions of Resident Alien, which you can find on SyFy Channel, at least in North America, Wednesdays in the evening times. It's a comic book reimagining. Apparently, it's pretty close to the actual story, so not that much of a reimagining, but it is a TV show of a comic book, which we don't get all the time, or at least not until recently, but they're trying. So, Resident Alien was originally a Dark Horse comic that started about 10 years ago and ran a few miniseries that's had pretty good success. I'm really excited to check this one out. It seems like the kind of premise that I'm really into, kind of classic sci-fi television from the early 2000s feel and look to what's going on, but at the same time having a little up-to-dateness inside of it with the filming style and the whole background story being pretty fresh.
My son told me you're an alien.
Well, you don't have anything to worry about. I'm not an alien. Thank you for coming over.
I will admit it is kind of standard sci-fi fodder for what we got going on. It's about an alien that crash lands on Earth and has to fit in with humans. So, there is a little bit of that cliche going on, but they do it in a really awesome way that I highly enjoy. There's a short intro to the whole thing. We learn very quickly what's going on and the backstory of what's happening here. We start about 4 months into the story, and it very obviously is going to progress much farther and faster than the initial time frame is, but it's quite interesting just to start off.
My mission was simple. Drop my device onto their planet and head back home.
The voiceover is almost a standard kind of thing for these sort of sci-fi movie TV shows that are going on. And the first episode, the pilot, is pretty much a movie unto itself. We get a lot of character introduction, but it progresses as a self-encapsulated story that really is quite interesting and hooks you in quite quickly. The CGI alien, we do get to see him quite early in the series. There's no hiding what this creature looks like, but it's done quite well, and there are a lot of practical makeup effects that are used throughout the episodes. And I was quite surprised with how well they pulled it off. It's believable. There is a little bit of issue with the mouth movement and the very obvious fake teeth that the actor is wearing, but other than that, quite convincing and really the kind of thing that you would expect from sci-fi, at least in their higher levels. I know some of their stuff, their made-for-TV movies can be a little underwhelming when it comes to that kind of thing, but this was a pleasant feeling when I got it. I didn't feel disappointed by it at all. When we first jump into things, there is some cliches here. We are talking about your standard alien crash land on Earth kind of thing going on. The alien has to learn the human language. He has to disguise himself as a human, and that kind of thing kind of lends itself to the same standardized TV style tropes. There's a language learning that he has to go through, learns from TV, Law and Order, which is a lot of fun.
I got news for you, Cosette.
I got news, Cosette.
One of my old favorite TV shows, comes up in a lot of humor and a lot of sitcoms, so You know, it may be a little bit recycled, but still works really well for what's going on.
I got news for you, Cosette.
I've got news for you, Cosette.
And we soon find out that this TV show is not just about an alien, it's also a mystery show, which kind of leaves a little interweaving of story types, which I did enjoy for the most part. I wasn't disappointed by that either.
Excuse me, sir. You Dr. Harry Vanderspiegel?
What can I help you with?
We had ourselves a murder in town last night. You're a doctor. We need you to come down and take a look at the body. Doctor?
I really find myself wanting these multi-genre type of shows, and I'm not at a loss for wanting more out of them as they go on. The first episode seems to really have a lot less of that integration, but as I watched the second and third episodes, I really did find that it has that standard TV setup going on where early in the episode we figure out that there's some sort of mystery to be solved, but we also find some of the personal issues that we're going to be going through. I was quite surprised with how well they pulled this off. It reminds me a lot of the old sci-fi show called Eureka, which I really enjoyed back in the day. And there's also another show called Warehouse 13. Not quite as good, but still quite an enjoyable series. I've watched both of those in their entirety. So if you want to go check out some classic sci-fi TV show stuff, go check out Eureka and Warehouse 13. Scrolling through YouTube, I find episode 1 of Resident Alien, and for whatever reason, I just watched it. And I was only going to watch the first one, but then it suggested episode 2 to me, and so I had to watch episode 2. And by the end of episode 2, I had to look up when episode 3 was coming out, and it turned out it had just been released, and it was on SyFy.com. And you can watch it on either YouTube or SyFy.com, the first 2 episodes, and the third episode on SyFy.com directly with some commercial interruptions. But there's definitely worse things than that, so don't get too worried. It's not too invasive. It feels like you're watching network TV. There's a lot of great inner dialogue that goes on as the alien, played by Alan Tudyk, really explores what it's like to be human. And this becomes a reoccurring theme throughout the entire 3 episodes, at least so far, and I'm sure it's going to continue through the rest of the series, is what it means to be human and to feel human, and what that actually defines you as.
Sometimes just feeling human is alien to me.
Yeah, me too.
I know there's a lot of us out there that feel alien in this world, especially nowadays. And the more alien we feel, the more human our experience actually can be. And it becomes quite interesting as he tries alcohol for the first time. He gets hit on by women. He tries going on a date. There's a lot of those standard sitcom things that are going on, but they do have this nice skew of being through the eyes of an alien disguised as a human in a human body feeling human things. And the exploration of emotions and feelings and lack of sleep and all sorts of other things that we really see and feel as humans becomes part of the standard movement of the plot throughout all of the episodes. It's quite interesting. He has a great quote on whiskey.
I'll say one thing about whiskey. It's allowing me to make smart, rational decisions.
And I think that that's really one of those things that a lot of us can relate to. I really find myself wanting to know more about this character. Sarah Tomko plays Asta, the secondary lead, the female lead of the show. She does a wonderful job at being the straight character, the one who feels that there's something weird about this guy, but can't really put it on the nose of what it is.
You're just different. I know what that feels like.
Really understands that there's a lot to be understood about this character that is an alien in essence. She doesn't know, but there's a lot going on that could give it away if there were any clues other than how he acts. There's a lot to be said about the comparisons to like the special problem solver TV shows, that we find in the early to mid 2000s. I think it's a great twist on that kind of stuff. Like I said, it's kind of a mystery show, so there's a lot of problem solving going on throughout it. But there is also this fresh perspective of having an interwoven genre between them all. Corey Reynolds plays Big Black, the town sheriff. Feel like he's kind of new on the scene of the town in Patience, Colorado, where this all takes place. But he's a no-nonsense kind of guy, and he's ready to figure out what's going on at all times, even though it mostly is that he's right behind the ball and can't quite pick up what's going on all the time.
How do you know that?
Because I can feel it in my balls.
Alice Wetterland plays the town bar owner, Darcy, and she's a great character, kind of the comedy foil.
So intense. I like it. Not for everybody.
And has a crush on our resident alien in Dr. Harry. And it becomes really apparent that she's going to be quite an important part of this storyline, but isn't interjected as any of the main characters at all, but definitely shows up every episode. Levi Feller plays the mayor, Ben, and has a great feeling of being a little off kilter, not quite fully prepared for the job of what happens when your town turns into mystery sci-fi kind of central.
I looked you up. You ran the lab at Rutgers.
Of course I ran the lab. I knew that. I was making a joke. I'm a very funny person.
Okay, good.
And when weird things start occurring, that's kind of exactly what I think anybody would feel, or a lot of people would feel, is that you're out of place. The fish out of water isn't just the resident alien, but it's also these other characters, and I think the character of Ben the Mayor really shows that off full face, right, from the beginning of the series. Judah Pren plays Max. I hope I'm not too late on this, but spoiler alert coming up. He plays Max, who is the son of Ben the Mayor, and he can see the alien for his true form.
This is some bullshit.
This is a slight departure from the believability of a lot of what's been going on in other parts of the series, as the body changing formation of the alien makes him shorter, makes him smaller, so that really the only thing that's different that Max can see is in the face and the head shape. But it really does create a lot of awesome interchanges between these characters, and as those occur, there's a lot of humor that's built, and we get to see this kid grow and try to understand the world around him and the things that are in his perception that the rest of the world can't see, which is also another really awesome humanizing moment, because I feel like that a lot too. And I know a lot of people out there can feel that way as well, that the rest of the world isn't what it looks like to you to everybody else. There's a lot of perception that goes on between people and how people see the world around you and what you may think is the real deal. And Elizabeth Bowen plays the deputy sheriff Liv, and another great comedic foil. Plays a lot of the soft-sidedness, the soft bunny rabbit, to quote the series itself. And she's just a really good side character to Big Black, the sheriff.
And I checked the currents. So the currents and the sheriff's balls.
It seems like Liv is much more soft-spoken, soft-footed, but she plays into Max's belief and actually helps him out in moving beyond just looking like a crazy kid who thinks there's an alien in town. I'm really excited for this series. Like I said, I watched all 3 of the first episodes and really enjoyed the heck out of it. It premiered on January 27th of 2021 this year, and there's been 3 episodes so far, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series. As I said in the first episode, There's a lot more movie-like qualities than the other two episodes, which I'm not mad about at all. I'm kind of glad that the jump-off point for all of this really feels like an encapsulating story that kind of stands on its own. However, in the last few minutes, we do get that hook that makes us want to see the rest of it, which is why I had to watch episodes 2 and 3. Is at the end of each episode we get a sneak peek at what the story in the next episode is going to be. So it has that classic TV feeling, you know, the serial drama feel that a lot of shows have and utilize to keep us hooked throughout the series, and it works really well in this. One of my other favorite parts of this is the music choice. There is some awesome soundtracking going on this, specifically one of my favorites, which is the theme music. It is a song called Bilgewater by Brown Bird, which, man, I am so glad to see Brown Bird kind of jumping off. I'm from Providence. The band is from this area, so it's really great to see them getting some awesome national attention with being the theme song to one of the best shows in 2020 so far anyway. And as they use modern music to kind of keep us grounded in all of this and not up in the clouds, it really feels like they understand what they're doing with the soundtracking and evoking emotion with that soundtracking. It works really well in almost every sense. There's a little bit of forced nature to some of it, maybe using some songs that aren't perfect, but they still fit really well and they don't mess up the flow of the show whatsoever. They really bring things together and keep things moving as far as the storyline goes. I also really like the idea of using Google for knowledge. It seems like they aren't unaware of the fact that this is happening in the modern age.
Douche. Bag. A small syringe for douching the vagina. Images. What the hell?
The storyline is pre-2020, so there is a lot of that open world feeling. There's not people wearing masks. They didn't modernize the comic book series to be feeling like it's today. It definitely is in the normal world. So there's a great feeling of normalcy to it that kind of lets me escape what's going on in the world today while still making me feel familiar with all of those tropes and things that come from TV shows that I really enjoy and look forward to in entertainment overall. As the series progresses past that first pilot episode, it does get a little more like your regular drama or more serious comedy, which I don't mind either. It keeps me hooked. It keeps me wanting to watch what's going on. It makes me want to continue watching the episode. And even with the commercial breaks that happen inside the sponsored SyFy.com viewing portal, it doesn't interrupt it so much that it's ruined. Those little, the act breaks are pretty natural. They're not forced, and they're never a cliffhanger that you need to see the next thing, and there's never enough right before the commercial breaks to make me forget what's going on by the time the commercial comes back, which is really nice. That can definitely be a mood killer when something too big or too crazy happens right before we cut to commercial. Like I said, it reminds me of some of the old sci-fi shows like Eureka, but it also reminds me of some of the early 2000s TV shows that you'd find on things like the CW or Fox or something like that, particularly like Smallville or Arrow, the other comic book world-based TV shows that got popular. I really don't think that this is going in the vein of a comic book adaptation television show. It really does feel original. It feels like something we haven't seen before, and if you're really having any doubts about it, you should definitely go and check it out. Like I said, it airs Wednesdays on SyFy. You can find it out there on the internet. The first 2 episodes are available on YouTube. Just check out the SyFy Channel's YouTube channel, which is rough to say. And they do have SyFy.com streaming direct, which is pretty interesting. Lots of clips and teasers as well, trailers for the following episodes. So if you need to get something for next week, you just can't wait till Wednesday, SyFy.com's got that for you. I really hope this series doesn't get canceled like Alan Tudyk's other awesome series that he had out there. Wink, wink to all those fantastic brown coat fans out there. I think this one is really going to be able to stand the test of time, and we're going to get a couple of seasons out of it for sure. At least fingers crossed so far. So, you know, if you haven't checked it out already, definitely go do so. If you have checked it out, leave a comment below. Tell me what you thought about Resident Alien. And if you're a comic book fan and you've read the comic book, leave a comment. Tell me what you thought about the comic book. Go watch an episode and tell me how it lines up. That's the one thing that this really brought to life for me is I might have to start reading comic books again. You know, big thanks to Dark Horse Comics and the creators of Resident Alien for getting this out there. Thanks to SyFy for starting this season up. It looks pretty awesome. You know, I wish it had started back in 2020 when they had promised us the first time, but it wasn't too long to wait. Here we are, 2021. We got it. So, you know, it was early enough in the year I didn't get angry. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I do stuff like this, at least hopefully more in the future. And I also have some awesome introspective philosophical rant type stuff that you can check out. So give it a subscription and you'll ding the dingy bell thing so you know when I got new videos up. And if you really feel like you enjoyed this review at all, don't forget to give the video the thumbs up. Much appreciated. And my name is Soup. I hope to see you next time on First Impressions.
Sky over the Atlantic.